everybody's still dunking on the Marvels and its abysmal box office and objectively worse standing as a film itself, the media has come up with a brilliant plan to distract you. To use Chris Pratt and blame him for being white. I kid you not. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and no, I didn't make that up. We're about to cover an article literally titled, Chris Pratt Must Be Stopped, and it does in fact devolve into individuals complaining because he is white. It is actually fascinating. Like, you know that the reason they're doing this is to get away from the Captain Marvel's discourse. Sometimes they gotta drudge up some old news, and what's a reliable way for the media to do that? Use Chris Pratt, because he's such an easy punching bag due to the fact that he is kind of beloved by almost everyone except the most insane of the insane on Twitter/X. So we're going to go over this article and talk about what insanity is going on in this author's brain, even though they themselves say it's not really Chris Pratt's fault. They just want to rant about whiteness and how it's a bad thing for Hollywood. So let's get into it with Chris Pratt needs to be stopped. Chris Pratt needs to be stopped. First, he voiced Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which fine, it was a hit, but does that mean he should have been the voice for the rotund Italian plumber? I don't think so. Well, first of all, I'm gonna stop you right there. $1.36 billion at the box office, so I would wager I don't really care what you think. The rest of the world tends to disagree. I was saying from the very beginning, off the jump, that he was gonna be a great Mario because his, voice in the trailers reminded me of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and that was my Mario when I was growing up. So yeah, I knew he was gonna be good, and lo and behold, he was good. And again, $1.36 billion at the box office, the second highest grossing film of the year after Barbie. So, again, yeah, don't really care what you think. Now he's voicing Garfield in the Garfield movie. While him voicing the lasagna-loving sleepy cat isn't as offensive as the Mario casting was, real quick, why is that offensive? Charles Martinet is not Italian. So, in fact, Martinet, it sounds like a pretty French last name. I don't know everything about Charles Martinet's ethnic background, but if I had to guess, what was so offensive about Pratt playing Mario? Mario was made by a Japanese company to begin with. I'm getting ahead of myself. You can already see how absolutely bananas this article is because they're calling things offensive. They're using buzzwords like that. And again, we'll get to the point where they complain about the whiteness, but we gotta build up to it first. That's the crescendo, the apex. That is the the zenith of this article. So let's just go through and see what they have to say about Chris Pratt and why he's so bad. Chris Pratt is the basic insert actor here to fill Hollywood's quota for lazy/safe casting. You could say that about so many actors. I'm a 90s kid, okay? I was watching movies in the 90s, early 2000s. You know who that was in the 2000s? It was Will Smith. Will Smith, he ain't a white guy, but Will Smith was the lazy, safe casting. You could also probably make that argument for Adam Sandler, who did have a bit of a slump. He's been bringing it back lately. But if you guys remember the late 90s to mid 2000s, people could not get enough of Adam Sandler and Will Smith. If you want to go back before that, the 80s into the 90s, that was Harrison Ford. I love Harrison Ford. He's my second favorite actor of all time. But let's be real, Harrison Ford was the Chris Pratt of the 80s and mid 90s. You get such an easy criticism to say, it's like, oh, this actor is the quota for lazy, safe casting. You could throw that out for anyone. That doesn't make it true. It just means that you can criticize something safely, ironically enough, without probably getting a lot of pushback because it's a very nice blanket statement. Okay, before I get into my admittedly unhinged takedown for Chris Pratt, at least the author does state that it is unhinged and that it's unnecessary. By the way, it's incredibly unnecessary. But yeah, they admit that it's unhinged. They're not out there trying to hide it anymore. So you don't have to worry about this individual being stable or rational. So at least they get that out of the way. Subscribe to the newsletter for the culture. No. We're gonna scrap that. Don't subscribe to their newsletter. Screw their newsletter. Instead, subscribe to my channel, Words of Paradise, where I'm gonna bring you news that actually is probably worth dissecting and getting into, because it's not just gonna be filled with a bunch of buzzwords. I do try to remain, believe it or not, decently objective. I know I get called an anti-woke YouTuber all the time, but I take pot shots at both sides because I would like both sides to stay out of nerd culture. So yeah, subscribe to Words of Paradise. You're gonna get new nerdy news videos almost every day, including ones that cover situations like this, where I break down what the media is really trying to tell you without using such words when it comes to nerd culture, because nerd culture needs to be saved. Now listen, I got nothing against Chris Pratt. I think he's a fine actor. Is he Daniel Day-Lewis? Denzel Washington? Hell, Robert Downey Jr.? No on all fronts, but he's an enjoyable, non-threatening screen presence, making you leave the movie theater feeling completely indifferent about his performance. The only exception to this is perhaps the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, where his milquetoast charm works for the character because it allows the other characters to make fun of him for being, well, basic. I'd also add his Parks and Recreation days here because the character was meant to be that, affable, if not a daft dude who's just a lovable guy. Well, I guarantee you, given your mindset and that you're about to go on this unhinged rant about just white actors in general, you probably didn't watch the Terminal List, which actually took an immense amount of acting talent, but probably too much of a right-wing pro-warmonger soldier show for you, so you have no idea about his acting capabilities. Now, do I agree that Chris Pratt can be used in the way you're describing? Absolutely, but to say that he's just a one-trick pony, no, you just don't know enough about Chris Pratt's work, about his body of work, and what the man can do, because you actually only watch films and movies, video games, whatnot, that do play it safe, because that's the easiest to write articles about. It doesn't require you using your gray matter to come up with some sort of articulate review, if I had to guess. The lovable dudeness should never have translated to movie stardom in the way, because there's nothing dynamic about it. Why not? I would like to go back to, Adam Sandler. Should his lovable goofiness never have translated to movie stardom? Because again, remember, think about 90s Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. He was the cute, funny guy, let's be real. Not cute in the traditional sense, but the fact that he was so charismatic in his goofiness gave him a charm. Or what about Will Smith? Should his, swagger, absolutely, his just unending charisma and swagger not have translated to movie stardom? Why is lovable dudeness different than goofy, cute comedy or, charismatic swagger? They're just different forms of charisma on different types of individuals. Like, what about Chris Pratt's lovable dudeness is so bad or so different? Or again, Harrison Ford's commanding, gruff masculinity that once again, it was the center of the stage. It was the star of the screen. That's why people loved the characters that Harrison Ford plays. That's why in all the movies he had ever played up until very recently, he had only been a bad guy one time. I think it was up until like 2007 or 2009. He'd only played a villain once in his entire career because he was that commanding of a heroic presence. But you don't see hit piece articles like this on Harrison Ford. Sure, it might work here or there, but after a while it gets boring, and those studios turning to Pratt because he's safe shows you how interested they are in creating something safe with zero longevity or originality. Kinda like the articles you're writing, if I had to wager a guess. If it makes them some money that one year it comes out, then cool. Think about how much money Iron Man and any Batman franchise or even Tyler Perry movies continue to make over time because the leads aren't necessarily safe. They're complicated, outside the box, Okay, no. First of all, I'll give you maybe Tyler Perry and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Almost every Batman actor, every Batman casting has been safe. I mean, the only one that really wasn't safe, the original Michael Keaton. People weren't happy about that. And then Christian Bale. Every single other Batman casting, yes, up to Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson, are pretty safe when you break it down. These are all great actors who we know could turn in great performances. Now, do they always? No, not all. George Clooney does, in fact, exist. But the fact of the matter is, you're throwing out names you think people will recognize, and then they're not going to argue with you. Batman makes money because it's Batman, not because of the actor playing him. Honestly, it has less to do with Chris Pratt and more with these studio executives who keep turning to Pratt for all these things. They're afraid to put someone outside the norm in these roles because they're worried nobody will relate to this character. Honestly, that's a load of crap because it's Garfield, and everyone relates to Garfield no matter who's voicing him. Tell that to Bill Murray and the scores and scores of the Bill Murray Garfield movie fans out there. Frankly, if you relate to Garfield, that might say more negative about you as a person because it means you're a fat, slovenly, lazy, sloth-filled individual who's more worried about scheming and finding ways to get out of doing work than getting up and doing the work in the day. Garfield's a character that we should be able to relate to on our bad days, but want to be better than 90% of the time, and we want to watch him because, let's be real, he's a cute, funny cat, but we probably shouldn't, relate to him the same way you probably don't want to relate to, Norman Bates, for example. The problem doesn't even end with Pratt. Jacob Elordi. So they're going to complain that, here's another white guy who's turning into the next Chris Pratt. Also, this is a bit of a side discussion, but let's call it like it is. And here's the part that we all want to get to. Here's the part that I know you guys are going to love. The part where they blame just blanket whiteness of actors. Let's call it like it is, as they say. Why should your cookie-cutter, generic white dude be the go-to actor for voice roles that have nothing to do with their appearance? Ah, I see your question, and I raise you. Why not use a white dude if it has nothing to do with their appearance? If the appearance doesn't matter, then what does the skin color matter one way or the other? Chris Pratt is a big name. Chris Pratt will, in theory, put butts in seats. Why? Idris Elba would put butts in seats because he's a very good, charismatic actor. When I was growing up playing Sonic the Hedgehog, I never once thought, I wonder what race Knuckles would be. So guess what? When they cast Idris Elba as Knuckles the Echidna, I didn't get up in a tizzy because, what's this? Black man voicing my red, talking, furry Echidna? No, I thought Idris Elba's a good actor, and I think he could do some cool stuff with Knuckles. Now, what happened? I watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and by God, Idris Elba did a great job as Knuckles. Now, there's rumors going around that Jason Momoa is going to be playing Shadow the Hedgehog. Guess what? I ain't a fan of that. And it's not because, what? Shadow the Hedgehog's not a Samoan. No, it's because I think Jason Momoa is a crappy actor and has never really done any good work, and Aquaman's one of the worst movies ever made. That being said, it's got nothing to do with his ethnicity or his race, so not much how most of these individuals don't think any other actors doing voice roles have to do with their ethnicity or race. Are they good at their job? Chris Rock played a zebra in Madagascar. Well, Chris Rock is black. He's not mixed race. He probably should have been playing a half-black, half-white character in Madagascar. Is that what we're trying to do? We're trying to only cast based on appearance? No. Chris Pratt, famous dude, famous name, puts butts in seats. You bringing up the fact that it's generic white dude. What's so generic about Chris Pratt? I mean, if it was so generic, he wouldn't have gotten famous. There wouldn't be a bunch of, Chris Pratt movies, TV shows, because if he was generic, he wouldn't stand out. He wouldn't have made his way into the Hollywood machine if he was just like every other Joe Blow out there. But again, you want to give these easy to throw down criticisms that a lot of people won't argue with because it makes you sound intelligent when you're doing nothing but the most surface level of accusations. Like the 4 leads of the Super Mario Bros. Movie are voiced by white actors, who in addition to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, had multiple projects coming out simultaneously. Was nobody else available? Did nobody else need work? Who cares about them being white? Once again, the Super Mario Bros. Movie voiced by white actors. Well, first of all, last I checked, Mario, Luigi, and Peach were all white. Bowser is green and scaly, so it would be difficult to find a scaly actor out there. Now, you probably could have casted Hillary Clinton, because I'm pretty sure she's a lizard person, but then again, Bowser's a male, not a female, so I don't know if that would work. The fact of the matter is, you're throwing a fit about nothing. Every character, every actor in the Mario movie did their job, and they did it to an incredible degree. People have been saying that Jack Black stole the show as Bowser. Anya Taylor-Joy, she was an incredible Princess Peach. I loved Chris Pratt and Charlie Day. I mean, man, Charlie Day was awesome. Also, Keegan-Michael Key was Toad, who was the 5th main character, and frankly, actually had more screen time and probably more lines than Luigi, and he's black. So it's pretty great how you sort of omit the only, the actor of color that was in the story more than one of the other white actors. I'm sure there were other actors of color in the movie. I don't know. I don't care, because you shouldn't be focusing on that. Did the movie work? Was it fun? Was it enjoyable? Did you buy into the roles? Why, yes, on all accounts, because once again, $1.36 billion. But you're so fixated on talking about race. You're so fixated on trying to make this a white versus every single other ethnicity thing. You're not worried about what the fans want, what the fans will enjoy. Is this going to make money? Is this going to save theaters and save the film industry in a time where movies like the Marvels are raking in the lowest MCU box office scores of all time? But no. Keep boiling it down to a race thing. Yeah, because having mixed races as your basis worked so well for the Marvels. Everyone lined up to see a white girl, a black girl, and some sort of Middle Eastern girl, because race is so important, because diversity is our strength. That's what they needed from the Marvels. They didn't care if the movie was good or not, or did they, considering it made $44 million domestically opening weekend, the lowest MCU opening weekend of all time, especially when adjusted for inflation. But yeah, the problem is with the skin color. This is the sort of journalism that we're getting from people Newsweek 90, but we're getting the same sort of thing from the big names, the real journalists like CNN. No. You can't sit there and put stuff out like this and expect it to be taken seriously. This is why, by the way, that the people you hate so much, the right wing, are actually gaining ground in the culture war, because the average layman is tired of seeing everything boiled down to white man bad. Now that the SAG strike is over, Hollywood has an opportunity to do something radical and actually spread out the wealth a little bit when it comes to casting, because with the success of films like The Little Mermaid, they start off with The Little Mermaid, a movie that objectively lost money no matter how Disney tries to spin it. It did not make money, and now it did not flop near as hard as I thought it would, but it did lose, I think, over $100 million when you break down the math correctly. No, you can't start with The Little Mermaid. However, Barbie, Sound of Freedom, and Oppenheimer, yeah, yes, those did make money. And the fact that it does go out of its way to acknowledge Sound of Freedom, I will give it a modicum of credit to this article. It acknowledged Sound of Freedom. So, fair enough. You did good there. I'm not going to press you too hard, at least going forward, because most people wouldn't even acknowledge that film's existence. People were getting banned off YouTube for even talking about it, and then every single other article out there was, calling the movie right-wing propaganda. Now, I don't know if you did in any of your Newsweek stuff, you may have, but even if you did, you're at least acknowledging that it made money. With the success of films like The Little Mermaid, Barbie, Sound of Freedom, even Oppenheimer, I think it's clear that we as a movie-going public are open to more diverse casting, interesting stories, and just not having the same goddamn actor be in every big movie. Wrong, because if diverse casting was what mattered, the Marvels wouldn't have failed. No one cares about diverse casting one way or the other. We care about movies being good. You're right with this one, interesting stories, but that's about the only one you've got correct. It's not about having the same goddamn actor be in every big movie, because you know what? Chris Evans' movies, he's a big actor. Most of his movies that aren't Marvel movies, they've absolutely failed. And think of any actor. Every Jackie Chan movie is big. Every Jackie Chan movie people tend to love. People don't get tired of seeing Jackie Chan. Now, people do get upset if a Jackie Chan movie is bad, because those do occasionally happen, but that's the point. People aren't tired of seeing the same actor. They might get tired of seeing the same actor do the exact same thing over and over, and that's probably due to laziness of the script writing, laziness of the directors, and laziness of the overall Hollywood machine in general, not because the actor has been in multiple projects. The vast majority of big-name actors have been in a bunch of different movies. I don't see you making an article like this about The Rock. I guarantee you The Rock has been in far more movies than Chris Pratt, but you can't make this article about him because, once again, he is technically a person of color. He's a Samoan or something to that effect, or maybe he's half black, half Samoan, whatever. But if you made this article about Dwayne The Rock Johnson, all of a sudden you'd be racist. But there was a point where he was putting out like 3 movies a year. Just say it for what it is. You said earlier, just go ahead and call it like you see it. I'll call it like I see it. You're the racist. I know it's super easy and fun and popular to hate on Chris Pratt on account of the fact that he's, he's secretly conservative. He likes to pray to the big god upstairs, and he likes to hunt, and how dare he not come out and make a statement about trans kids, or what the hell ever. Chris Pratt is a very easy name to go after, especially when you need to rally up individuals and get them to cry about something on X because something else in the media is not going your way. In this case, the Marvels. Grab somebody else who's been in an MCU film and start attacking them to distract individuals, to get them upset, and you know what? Things like that, they're not gonna work anymore, because we actually see the culture shifting. We see people choosing to not see the Marvels. We see individuals choosing to support things like the Sound of Freedom, or even, like you said in your own article, Oppenheimer. People are tired of the same cookie cutter bogus. You're entirely correct, but not on the merits or basis of race, because the vast majority of regular people out there are not race obsessed like you smug and assumingly sly journalists. No, people don't care. They just want greatness again. They want American greatness. They want greatness in film. They want to see hard work pay off, and they want to see their values shown again, because the world is crumbling around them. Debt is crippling. Cost of living is at an all-time high. Jobs are down. But if people can turn on a movie and they can escape and they can see something that rejuvenates that little bit of life in their cold, dark hearts, then maybe it's worth doing. And I guarantee you 99.8.5% of them don't give a damn whether it's Chris Pratt making them feel that or someone else of whatever skin color. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news almost every day, and I am trying to get to the 2,000 subscriber mark before the end of the year. We are barely over 200 away, so if you could hit that button, help me boy out, I would truly appreciate it. You can also check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and remember, it's all here in the nerdosphere, and this has been Words of Paradise.